Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Zenitsu, and you're listening to the Digi Talks podcast, the show that covers various topics from news to meta developments and everything in between for the fine folks who love the Digimon trading card game. Just as a quick reminder, I do try to stream this live over on twitch.tv/Zenitsu, usually on Tuesday nights, but fear not, if you ever miss the live show, then you could always catch it on various channels like Zenitsu in terms of YouTube, as well as it being on Spotify for your viewing and listening pleasure. Please feel free to leave that rating, like, follow, subscribe, review, whatever, depending on the platform that you're listening on. It really does help support the podcast, or at least we like to think it does. Today, I am back with Jay Stewart, and there's two major things that we're going to be talking about today. The first one is I did store regionals, two of them, so I'm going to be talking about my store regional experience. I'll keep that to a minimum, but there is going to be a salt alarm, because I was not necessarily the happiest camper. So you'll hear a little bit of salt, but fear not, because we got a little bit of savory, because it's Thanksgiving, and we're going to be talking about Thanksgiving topics. So, like personal reflections, memorable moments, things that we're grateful for, food, whatever it is. So yeah. But before we kick things off, we had a new episode of the anime, episode 8. I know you did not watch it, Jay Stewart. Shame on you. Put a reminder on your phone for Sundays, please.
I need to, honestly.
That's what my work is having me do. Like, all the small little medial tasks that I need to do, they just have me like, hey, don't forget to set a reminder for yourself because you're going to be doing it every single day. Sometimes I do it early and they get really mad and they're just like, just listen to your computer. It'll tell you when you need to do things. And I'm like, no, I wanted to do it early because I had time. And they're just like, no, that's not how these reports work. But anyway, yeah, so set a reminder for yourself to watch it. But thankfully, like, it was not really much of an episode. Like, it was a good episode, don't get me wrong. Because the spoiler-free version, just to keep it spoiler-free, or as light spoiler-free, the antagonist was Mimicmon, and really nothing like of substantial happens. Like, it felt like they tried to set something up, but I don't think it's actually gonna pan out. With the characters' motivations in terms of how the events played out in the episode. But for the most part, it was Mimicmon was being evil, causing trouble. Cleaners come in, defeat Mimicmon. Bond between Geckomon and protagonist grow a little bit deeper. So maybe by episode 10 or 12, he's going to actually Digivolve. Right now, he's taking the record for the longest to Digivolve, I believe. And I think, like, correct me if I'm wrong, Tamers held that record before by holding back until, like, episode 7 or 8 for Guilmon to evolve. I could be wrong, in terms of like when the episode was, but I mean, I knew it was going to take a while for Geckomon to evolve just because of, like, new age anime pacing, but I feel like at the same time, not introducing his evolution might actually be doing more harm than good. Because attention spans are very short, and people want instant gratification, and the fact that it took nearly an entire anime season, which is 12 episodes, in order to get Geckomon to evolve in the story to actually move forward outside of just some initial little setup here and there, feels really, really slow, I guess. And we know that it's not going to be 70 episodes. This is only going to be like around 50 episodes. So with a tenth of it literally dedicated to, like, nothing so far, doesn't necessarily paint the best of starts in terms of story pacing. Things could pan out and be rewarded later. We don't know, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah, because Growlmon's evolution appeared in episode 8. In that episode, that was when Takado didn't trust Guilmon because there was people that were getting attacked by a strange Digimon in the park, or a monster, as they said. So he thought Guilmon was doing it when really it was Itmon all along. And the moment he put his faith into Guilmon, that's when Guilmon finally digivolved for the first time.
Yeah. So, um, hopefully, Takaru or not Takaru. Why am I blanking on the protagonist's name? I really need to learn it. But so far, the
Tatsu?
protagonist. Yeah, so far the protagonist. I know it starts with a T. They all start with T's. Who am I kidding? Literally,
Not
almost
David?
all of them. Do you count David as in Okay, maybe he is a protagonist. I'm gonna be like, no, he is. Uh,
Yeah, because like I'm trying to think back of all the times that every single Digimon tamer, like they got to their champion forms, and I want to say almost every single one of them got it in their first, if not second episode. Because Marcus, like with his Agumon, that was episode 2 from Digimon Savers. Uh, Digimon Adventure 02, literally Flame was like the first or second episode on that one. Greymon, that was again the second episode right there. I'm trying to think.
Most of the
Uh,
time, it's within the first 5 episodes. Like,
yeah,
sometimes, depending on where the characters are and what they're doing, it takes a little bit longer, but, like, the first 5 episodes usually is, like, the first Digivolution grace period for the protagonist. And Beat Break is beaten past that. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's an issue. It's just, I know a couple of people, granted, they're more anime snobby people, where it's just like, no, we're gonna drop Digimon because we don't feel like anything's happening. And it's just like, I get it. I know it's a slower burn compared to a lot of things that they're used to watching, but it would have been nice to hear more people talk about Digimon in the anime sphere. Granted, though, like I said last time, Bandai's going through a lot of trouble in their anime department. Because One Punch Man is the gift that keeps on giving when it comes to how bad it can get. And I'm not saying that's what's going on with Digimon, but like I'm not saying Digimon is the highest quality anime in the season or any season. It's a serviceable anime.
yeah. I think I think the reason why we might not have seen the evolution yet is just because of the fact that typically the evolutions are always meant to symbolize something special between the Digimon and their partners. Like it's a very significant moment. And the fact that with the main character, um he didn't start off with like all the world of trust of like the his own partner, so just trying to jump in evolution as fast might not just be well built character development between the two, if that makes sense. Maybe
Yeah,
that's the reason why we haven't seen it yet.
and all of these like Digimon of the Week type moments that they have in some of these episodes, it's supposed to slowly build like the bond between them. So they remember obviously what happens in the previous episodes. Um so like it's slowly trying to get there where the protagonist fully opens up and trusts Geckomon and then he will get his evolution. Like I said, I'm predicting towards episodes 10, 11, or 12 is when we're going to be seeing it. If it's anything past that, then I don't know what they're holding back for.
Yeah, because
Uh,
then you would just be kind of rushing the evolutions way too fast at that point.
right. And it's not like because all of the Digimon that they fought for the most part were champion level. So I understand like the gimmick behind beat, at least so far, is that with enough beat, it might not trigger an evolution, but it does make Digimon significantly stronger than they reasonably should, and the protagonist does have this like unlimited beat type thing where he just has more beat or his beat is distorted or something weird with his beat. So we'll see how that pans out because maybe Geckomon's trying to get used to the beat and maybe that's what's keeping him from evolving. But knowing how Digimon goes, I highly doubt that's actually the case.
Hard to say. We'll have to wait and see for now.
Yeah, so but episode 8 was pretty good. It was fun. It was just more Digimon. Not really much happened in terms of the great. I like if you watched it, I would have gone deeper into spoilers, but this way, you and everyone can watch it. But now that you kind of know, nothing super grand happens. It's just, hey, how are these characters interacting in this setting? And I think like that's still important and valuable.
Yeah, 'cause, I
Uh,
mean, I know it's like something to do with like his school or something. So it's like his classmates are now coming into a realization this is a thing. So
yeah, I'm not gonna get too deep into spoilers on that, so that way you could watch it. But start putting a reminder on your phone on Sundays to watch it,
yeah, of course.
or at least on Mondays. Like Monday when you get home, just veg out to Digimon.
Yeah, that's usually what I typically do.
Okay. But yeah, so I guess now this is we'll just call it the negative Nancy whiny corner because people like to think that I whine. Um and yeah, I participated in 2 store regionals and I did medium in both of them. The deck that I took was Rocks and Minerals, and I was in the middle of the pack in both events. Middle of the pack, the first event was like 26 players, and I was 10th in that. So kind of just bubbled out of top 8, but it didn't matter because first and second got invites. And then the second event, I was 20th out of 28 or 24 or 28 players. And again, just nothing felt great. This format kind of just sucks. So if you have any questions, like feel free to jump in, Jay Stewart.
You played Rocks and Minerals for both events, correct?
Yeah, I thought about switching to Omnimon for the second event, and I honestly can't say I would have done much better because I'm pulling up my notes, because I had notes on my rounds. In the very first event, which was on Saturday, I tied against Jessmon round 1. I beat 2 Rock Mirrors in a row, lost to Hoodie, and tied to Royal Knights. So that was the first wave. Jessmon was incredibly obnoxious. I'm not gonna lie. Like them just out of nowhere building a ginormous board and then giving it protection is borderline stupid. And it's just Jessmon. Like the new Jessmon's just so cracked. But yeah, so that's essentially what happened was I OTK'd them. They built up a board and I couldn't OTK or break it. I believe it was I couldn't break their board. And then we didn't finish the game because game 2 took way too long. Um, the game that I lost took too long because I didn't OTK and they didn't put, and I was able to stem off enough pressure to keep them from just straight up killing me super quickly. So like there was kind of a back and forth, but it didn't feel particularly great. Rocks mirrors are rocks mirrors. Like somebody OTKs the other person, limited interaction outside of maybe setting up like a prog or a magnetic early on and hope that the opponent doesn't actually have any outs to that. Like if the other person uses their D-Dig evolves correctly, like you could still out magnetic and like it just it doesn't really matter because the one thing a lot of people mostly me I forget is order of operations because the deletion happens before the inheritable sources trigger. So if you set up like a magnetic or like anything with fragment, it if they don't have D-Digivolve, then it becomes very hard to remove that Digimon, especially if you pull out first. So but yeah, I was able to navigate those rocks. Hoodie, the Hoodie player that I played against was using the option control variant, which my deck is teched for Hoodie, but it's not insulated against everything Hoodie. So like I still just lose to options, and that's exactly what happened. Is I lost to options. Didn't feel very good. Hoodie's like absolutely disgustingly broken. Like, have you seen Hoodie play at all, Jay Stewart?
I have not honestly. I just know there's like a loop shenanigan kind of thing, and basically from what I understand is it's something to do with like Hoodie playing out the Ches Tamer, and
Chitose?
then yeah, and then from there you kind of do this weird DNA shenanigan. You attack with that, and then somehow you digivolve yourself, which triggers the Hoodiemon again, which you play out the Ches, and it somehow creates a loop. That's
Yeah,
about as much
so
of it I know.
so the base loop is you have Hoodimon playing out Chitose on attack. Then Chitose plays out a level 4 body. Hoodimon sees that level 4 body and uses it for alliance. Then, because there's two level 4 bodies, you DNA, and then you use the BT22 level 3 to digivolve yourself back down into a Hoodie, now unsuspended. So that way, when Hoodie suspends, you could use Chitose's effect to minus 3k, and then use Hoodie to bounce it back to your hand to play it out again to then do another level 5 Digimon. But the deck, even without that, is cracked as fuck. Like, pardon my French, but it is cracked as fuck. Who thought ever Hoodie was a good idea should be taken out back and shot straight up. That deck is so messed up in so many ways. Because, like, its general, like, without Hoodiemon, its general playstyle is exactly like every other aggro deck. And by every other aggro deck, I mean the purple decks that have been doing well, where it's just like, yeah, I'm going to just swing really hard with a big, small level Digimon, and then all of a sudden, I get to play a whole bunch of shit out for free, and then give you nothing to interact with because my tamers are now going to bounce my Digimon back into my hand, and then next turn, I have more memory. Like, it's progressively gaining more memory the longer the game goes on, while giving you nothing to interact with because you reset up your Digimon in your raising area to do basically everything all over again. Like, it's so disgustingly stupid. I really do not enjoy that type of gameplay. I didn't enjoy it on Purple Hybrids. I didn't enjoy it on Magidramon. I don't enjoy it on Hoodie. It's obnoxious. And, like, that's why a lot of stack-based decks have to just OTK, is because these aggro decks can basically just do everything for nothing. And that's why they're always broken all of the time.
And they also don't necessarily require like as big of a commitment. Like you don't need to worry about digivolving into a big giant stack when it comes to digivolving into those. Like the purple hybrid, there's no real big stack commitment to that. The Magidramon, again, you don't even need to really commit a big stack. Can you? Yes, technically, but you don't. It's not always required.
No, but it's just a hyper obnoxious gameplay, and the fact that, like, tamers are feeling like planeswalkers from Magic, where the more you have on the field, especially for Hoodie, the more shit you can do, and because you're doing more shit, your turns just take significantly longer because you also just get a whole bunch more memory. So not only do you have more memory to do, you have more actions to do, and you have more, like, just it's just more for literally nothing, because all they do is, like, they just swing with a level 4 Digimon, and then everything gets played out for free after that. It's so disgustingly stupid. So even without Hoodiemon removed from the equation, the deck is still cracked as fuck. Like, it's still stupid. And the big thing that a lot of people don't seem to realize is you could tech all you want for Hoodie. Hoodie could also tech against you. And the fact that everyone has to tech against Hoodie specifically, or they just almost auto lose, is a problem, while Hoodie also isn't hard losing to the techs that you're putting in. So, like, I put into my Rocks and Minerals Metallic Dramon and Congo. They came up, they didn't matter. Like, Hoodie just did Hoodie things, and they just fundamentally did not matter. My tech cards did absolutely nothing to stop or slow down Hoodie because of just how Hoodie plays. So yeah, that's the big thing a lot of people don't realize is Hoodie has enough tools to adapt. You don't have enough tools to adapt to Hoodie. And that's why Hoodie is, like, borderline the best deck in the format right now. Is literally because of that. Alright, and then what else? Yeah, so my only loss in the first event was to Hoodie, and then Royal Knights was a tie. Royal Knights is doable, it's just difficult. Congo and Metallic also sort of matter in that matchup because you could use Metallic to stop the Omeka from evolving. So that's really cute. It's very expensive of a play. But if you have enough memory and a good setup, like it's entirely doable. And then Congo stops them from recovering because they're using the new Dynasmon. So that can impact things. They also have the Gallantmon that can also recover. So again, it's not a bad card. It also stops like Omekamon and some of the other small stuff that they run from being able to attack. So yeah, like the techs kind of felt okay, but it didn't feel like they mattered at all. Um, so yeah, I got 10th place in that. And then in the second event, this was the bigger event. Um, round one, I faced Grand Drac. That was my locals buddy. He knew he was not going to win with Grand Drac, but he wanted to see if he could get his combo off. He said he did, but like this format just is so unkind to 90% of the game that like he could do his cool thing and then just lose because his cool thing wasn't good at all. Then round two, I faced Bagra. So I won against Bagra because I OTK'd them. They took a game off me because they taxed me enough to where my plays and my memory was just off, and therefore my combos were awkward and they just didn't work. So, and then I also bricked. That didn't help. Bricking. So I bricked a lot in the second event, like way more than I wanted to. So maybe I just needed to shuffle better. I don't know. But I barely, oh, it's not even barely. I beat Bagra pretty okay. Then round three, I faced off against a hoodie player. They were also on option control. They were like more mid-rangey with their options. Like they ran some, not like an overabundance to where it's more option control. Like the player on Saturday. But the fact that I lost because I hit a straight option that ruined my entire play, it just sucked. Like, I mean, that's why options are good.
What are these options that you're running into? Like, what are these option cards that they're apparently using?
It's the CS options like Rock Fist and Welcome Palm and Crescent Leaf. Like it's the hoodie options. Yeah, they're all incredibly good. I think the worst one is Welcome Palm because deletion right now is just absolutely bad. Like deleting the opponent's Digimon is something you actively almost never want to do because that'll trigger their on deletes or they could have protection against deletion. It's the most common form of removal, but it's also the most common form of protection. So like because of that, it just fundamentally doesn't really matter. So yeah, it was the other options that mattered and really ruined my day. Then round four, I faced Rock's mirror and I lost the mirror because I bricked. Spoiler alert, you can't brick in this game. You do, you die. That's the rule. I beat Gallant round 5, and then I lost to Mallow in round 6 because I bricked again. Like, I had an opportunity, I had everything else like lined up to be able to kill him, and I just didn't see the last card to put it all together, and I bricked. So, yeah. This format sucks. The way I like to describe it is basically there's two realistic decks that you could play. Hoodie and Royal Knights. Those are the only two decks that are the most consistent and the best decks in the entire format. Royal Knights is only up there because it has an insanely good hoodie matchup. Like, really good hoodie matchup. But when it comes to the rest of the format, tier 1 is probably where you have, like, Jess and Gallant, where it's just, like, they could beat Hoodie and Royal Knights, which I define as, like, tier 0.5. They're just above and beyond some of the best shit you could play. And then Gallantmon and Jessmon, they just are some of the other best decks in the entire game, where it's just like, yeah, Gallantmon is just one of the best OTK decks, one of the best punish decks, has really annoying protection. It just does kind of a little bit of everything in terms of a stack deck. It's also insanely consistent because of how many searching tools that they have. And Just Mon. Sometimes they just high roll and they could just win the game on turn 3. I mean, granted, most things can win the game on turn 3 at this point, so that's not really a surprise. But they could really high roll you. Um, and then like tier 1.5 is probably where I would put like maybe Rocks. Rocks has a really bad matchup into a lot of things. Like, yes, you could say, oh, you should have just played Hoodie. But again, I don't really enjoy Hoodie. I might be forced to play Hoodie, but I'm not gonna like find it to be fun or enjoyable, and that's gonna get me to quit. Is just a lot of these decks are not fun and enjoyable because there's no, like, you could say there's a back and forth, but there really isn't. Like, it's who combos off and who bricks. Those are the two major factors between like everything. Like, and then matchups is the last factor. It's like, do you have a good matchup into this? So it's just like, yeah, I do, but against the best deck, I don't. So, like, what am I actually doing? If I could beat out, like, 70% of the rest of the game, but the last 30% I can't, like, am I even competitive at that point? Probably not. And that's where a lot of decks are. That's why Gallant, Jess, Hoodie, and Royal Knights are probably the 4 best decks in the entire format right now. And the only things people realistically should play if they want to actually have any kind of consistent success based on, you know, the direction and track record of these decks in this current format and environment. Like, that's why I wanted to try Royal Knight, or not Royal Knights, Omnimon. But Omnimon's like sitting there with Rocks, where it's like it's either a tier 1.5 or a tier 2 deck. Like, it's not going to beat Hoodie. It's not going to beat Jess. It's not going to beat Royal Knights. It's not going to, like, maybe it might beat Royal Knights, but it's not going to beat Gallant. It's just like, okay, well, actually, it might beat Gallant, but Gallant has a better matchup into me than I do it. I digress. Like, the 4 decks that I mentioned are just the 4 decks that you should be playing if you're actually thinking about playing competitively. Everything else is like borderline not even worth your time. And I come from a long line of competitive card games, and one of them was Hearthstone, where there was a very simple rule. The meta starts with aggro, the meta ends with aggro. Because aggro is usually the best thing to do at the beginning, which right now is Hoodie. And then people start learning the matchups and learning to tech in control cards to try to slow down the aggro. And then the aggro just learns to out the control cards. Like, that's essentially what happens. And that's currently what's happening. And so, like, yes, you could say all you want that just play the tech cards against Hoodie and play the tech cards against some of these other decks. But at the end of the day, they don't matter. They realistically do not matter because the game is too fast for them to actually be important and impactful. Like, the best thing is they come out of security and then ruin the entire opponent's play. That's the best you could hope for. Wow, I'm leaving my success rate up to RNG. I'd rather not. As a competitive player, the whole point is to take RNG out. I'd rather just not. This format sucks. So yeah, that's kind of my mini rant. After on Saturday, we went to Hot Pot and Korean barbecue and had a great time because friendship, the magic of friendship. But it was interesting. My friend, I mean, both my friends that I went with, they play Digimon, very casually. One of them asked me, on a scale of 1 to 10, how close are you to quitting the game? Like, just out of nowhere, out of the blue. Do you want to take a guess on that number?
Scale of 1 to 10, obviously 10 being the
10 is quitting. 1 is, I think everything is fine. The game is the greatest it's ever been. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the game, period. I'll play this forever.
I want to say maybe 6 or 7 based on what you were kind of saying earlier. Like, just your feedback about your results or your time playing at these store regionals. I don't want to say higher because obviously you haven't taken more of a step back to be more of a local player and everything. Like, this is the one time you tried to be more competitive, if that makes sense. So that's why I'm going with my 6 or 7.
You're right. I'm actually about 7, 8. Realistically more about 7.5 if I had to do 0.5s, but leaning more towards the 7 aspect rather than the 8. If they keep doing the shit that they're doing, it's gonna be 8 literally by the next format or two. Like, so far, BT24, the spoilers, very unimpressive. highly unimpressive. I saw so far absolutely, like, they put 0 cards out to give me any faith in Time Strangers as a set. Spoiler season just started, but like we already got 2 of the protagonist Digimon. Or no, we got 1 of them. We got the Goma, and then we got a lot of like other stuff to support Iliad, and Iliad just looks schmediocre, more like it. I'm just unimpressed. Like, especially compared to Hoodie, it's like you read the Hoodie cards and then you read the Iliad cards, and you're just like, whoa, worlds apart. Absolutely worlds apart.
Well, here's even like just something that I was looking at, and it's so weird to me. Like, if you look at Sylphimon, the level 5 that they literally revealed last night or early in the morning, it literally has something worse than Partition, but you only get to play 1 instead of 2, if I'm reading that correctly.
So on play when digivolving, minus 5,000. Then if DNA'd, gain security attack and plus 5,000. So again, you have like, it's really funny to see how many times they have this Digimon can also just attack the second you digivolve up into it, and then they have Digimon hitting way above their weight class, where it's just like you have level 4s and 5s hitting for like anywhere between 10 to 16k. It's just like, what? Like, these Digimon are hitting way above their weight class at this point, and it really goes to show and highlight, like, the amount of power creep that they introduced into the game, very subtly. I think that's the, like, shitty part, is how subtle the power creep was, and then all of a sudden, it just took something to break that power creep, and now it's on full display. But yeah, so all turns, when this Digimon would leave the battle area, other than by your own effects, you're gonna play 1 level 4 yellow or red Digimon with Time Stranger in its trait. Yeah. What's the Shikuamon doing? Is Shikuamon also just 1 from BT23?
Shikuyamon, as far as my knowledge, that was actually full on Partition.
It was like fake Partition. It didn't say it was Partition, but it pretty much was exactly Partition.
But yeah, it's just, to me, it's just like, why would I use this if it has something worse than Partition? Like, obviously, if I want to be aggressive, then yeah, sure. Then I understand, like, with that effect. And the effect kind of the whole getting the attack right away, I think they were trying to implement the whole, what is it, that you could DNA in the middle of a battle and everything. I think they were trying to replicate that mechanic from the game. Maybe it's why they have that effect the way it is.
Maybe. I don't exactly know. I mean, they could easily be trying to do what Shikuamon does, except taking a different approach, where it's just like, you'll have a Digimon that plays out another Digimon, and then its on-play effect will allow you to DNA, because that's what the new Shikuamon's designed to do, is when he dies, he plays out the other 2, and then you just go into a new Shikuamon. And it's just like, cool. So, like, I don't know. But yeah, so far, BT24, highly disappointing. And the big thing that, like, part of why I'm, like, so critical on the game is because I don't want BT24 to suck. I really don't. But the way that they have designed certain aspects of the game right now, granted, yes, again, spoilers are still super early, but if they do not fix Hoodiemon, there's 0 reason for anyone to buy BT24. 0. So the sales of that set are going to tank, because the power creep was so high from the previous set and the previous decks that we're already playing. There's no reason to invest in anything new. And then if that continues for multiple sets, then stores stop ordering as much product because the product's not selling. And that's where, like, the negative downward spiral starts to happen. And that's something I don't want to see happen, because we already saw what happens when that does. Then we get BT16 situations, where it's just like, now you have a power creep set, everyone wants it, and it's nowhere, because the sales of the game have been tanking so hard because of poor business decisions. Like, this is why I think every BT set, they need to hit something. Sure, we could play Hoodiemon for 3 months. Who fucking cares? I just won't play that format. But now you're telling me, okay, Hoodiemon's gonna ruin the game for 6 months? So why am I wasting my time playing the game for 6 months when it's a format I don't enjoy and Bandai's not actively doing anything to fix it? And all it takes is a more frequent banner restriction update. Like, yes, they can have their power creep as long as they actively fix their game. That's what literally Yu-Gi-Oh! Is doing. That's what Magic's doing. I don't know about Pokemon, but that's what a lot of card games are starting to do now is, hey, we have too much product coming out. Designing cards is really hard, especially trying to balance it around previous existing sets and decks. So we're just gonna, like, they're forced to ban and restrict things more. Bandai not doing that only is hurting their game.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I mean, I don't know if, because because what is it? They have like 4 main sets, like you said, and then
Yeah, they have
there's
4 main
three,
sets and 3 EX sets, as far as
and then
Digimon
so far
goes.
it's yeah, and besides EX sets, they typically have always done some sort of one random thing, whether it be RB01, a reprint set, like because we're getting one at the beginning of the next year, if I remember correctly.
Don't even get me
Um,
started on that one. When I'm in negative Nancy mode.
yeah, I'm just like, so it's like they're kind of doing like theoretically 8 sets and everything. I mean, I would not honestly mind if they do slow down on the sets.
I don't
Honestly, in
necessarily
my
think they
opinion.
need to slow down on the sets. It's just banning and restricting things more because they're not going to slow down on them. Like Pandora's box has already been opened. The game's already fucked. When it comes to like the trying to keep power creep in check and trying to fix the actual issues with the game, it's like no, they literally do not care about that. Which is why like it really feels like what they're trying to do is have sets be more insular, but at the same time, they just power creep the shit out of something the second it can interact with something it's not supposed to. I'm 90% sure the oversight between BT22 and BT23 was they didn't think that we would use them together. Like, I literally think that's a huge designer oversight that they just did not do. Like, it really feels like they're tunnel visioning on an individual set, and they're not actually looking at the bigger picture, which they should be doing. And that's why, if they're not doing that, they need some way to check themselves because they're not. Either that or their quality assurance is just absolutely god awful and they'll just let anything go. Like, I'm not saying Hoodie is as bad as APOC, but like, Hoodie can have that same level of impact where Bandai will be too slow to act on it. And the problem with Hoodie is, again, there's so many parts and pieces that are interacting in ways that they like were intended to, but it's so powerful that it's above everything else in the entire game. So, like, what do you reasonably hit to slow it down? It's like you remove Hoodie and it could still do like the same shit just without Hoodie mod. Is it harder? Yeah. Is it possible? Yeah. Like, I lost to one of my games with Hoodie without even them seeing a single Hoodie. They don't need it. Oh, replace the Chitose with Yugo or something. Like, I start my turn with 6 or 7 memory anyway. Who the fuck cares if I spend 2 or 3 of it? It's so disgusting. And then just the new shit that Royal Knights got's just absolutely maddening on how much stronger the few new tools that they got actually made the deck. But I also think Royal Knights is mostly there to try to keep Hoodie in check versus it like actually being like insanely cracked. It's good. It's very good. But I think like remove Hoodie from the equation and then like literally Royal Knights drops a tier because but I think it's doing better because it has a better Hoodie matchup.
I was gonna say, like, I don't know if Royal Knights would drop down a tier, so to say, just because
Well, what I'm
Royal Knights
saying
for
is
the
it
most
wouldn't
part.
be tier 0.5, it would be tier 1.
Yeah, I mean, it would have less decks that in its matchup that it has a better chance of winning against. But I
Well,
mean, Royal Knights is still a good deck.
yeah, so part of it is it's being propped up because of its Hoodie matchup because Hoodie is a ginormous portion of the meta right now. That's what I'm saying. Is it's propped up because of that matchup more specifically. So remove
Yeah,
Hoodie and it's still a strong deck. It just moves down because it's on the power level of everything else because everything else is helping keep it in check. Like that's just how
yeah,
matchups
no, that's
work.
fair. No, that's fair because I mean, like Royal Knights was still a good deck, but it wasn't on par with like someone like Galimon was, or the
No, but that's what I'm
Magidra.
saying. Like Gallantmon has
The
an okay-ish Hoodie matchup, but Hoodie could still out Gallantmon relatively easily. Because depending on how Hoodie plays, they could just give Gallant nothing to interact with as they beat Gallant in the face. Um, so like that becomes an issue where it's just like, okay, let's just say Gallant. I mean, Gallant has an okay hoodie matchup, but it has like maybe let's just say a bad Jespon matchup or something. Like the tier one decks are trying to keep each other in check, but like because of matchup spread, it makes Hoodie stand above everything else, and then Royal Knights is there to be the check to Hoodie. But other decks check Royal Knights, but because Hoodie is most of the meta right now, uh, there's less to check Royal Knights. That's where I'm going with that.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a fair assessment. Sorry, I had to think about that for a second.
No, you're good. But yeah, so I think this format's awful. BT24 so far, based on the minuscule spoilers that we have, looks like it's gonna sell like dog shit, and we're gonna have to wait until what post nationals to have an official update, unless they decide to do an emergency ban or restriction. Like if they hit Hoodie going into BT24, that would make BT24 sell better. Like they understand that, right? They made their money on BT23. It's it's done. They can move past it because all of the money that's moving around with BT23 is not their money. It's stores' money and it's distributors' money. Distributors already told them how much to print. Bandai already print and Bandai already sold. So like it literally is doing Bandai absolutely zero damage to the game to update their game every main set, because that could actually improve the sales of the other sets. But that's just a guy on the internet ranting about how this format's fucking awful. Um, and like, I'm glad I'm not playing competitive Digimon anymore, because if basically every format is going to be like this going forward, like I didn't even find EX10 to be enjoyable. But like if the meta is essentially just going to continue to be like this and the game is only going to get more powerful, zero interest on playing this game competitively. Like it's bad. It's really bad. Like this is probably some of the least fun I've had in Digimon in a long time, and it just reminded me why I didn't why I'm not competing this year at all. And the few times I tried, it's just like, oh yeah, I didn't take the number one deck. I played something I wanted to play, and then I got my ass clapped, and then I'm like, yes, why did I bother wasting my time and money doing this? Saturday I did it for fun because we went to Hot Pot and had a good time. We ate so much meat. My friend was just like, I have one rule, guys, and we were just like, all right, hit us. What's your rule? No carbs, only meat and only vegetables. So we just picked out on meat. Oh, and I guess technically fish and poultry, but I would label that as meat. Yeah, it's protein. So yeah.
Yeah.
Now we could get into the Thanksgiving portion. So let's actually try to end this on a more positive note. So feel free to lead the charge on the Thanksgiving festivities, Jay Stewart. Put us in the mood.
Yeah, so one of the things I can be thankful for with the Digimon TCG, I've never had the luck I've had in Digimon as when I was in Yu-Gi-Oh, but I've been able to pull like some really, and I mean incredible SP cards. Um, like I think the very first one I got, if I remember correctly, that would be the Beelzemon from the Advanced Structure deck. I've also pulled a Imperial Dramon Fighter Mode from BT16, if I remember correctly. And I'm trying to think. The Safagamon. It's the one where you evolve on top of another Safagamon or
Safaga
whatever. The
Ace.
secret rare.
Yeah, Safaga Ace.
Yeah, Safaga Ace. I'm trying to think. I've also gotten like the BT. I'm trying to think the movie set one where it's like the Greymon that's white.
Yeah, that's BT17.
Yeah, BT17. I didn't pull the higher one. I pulled like the lower value one, but it was like I've had so much. Like I've gotten so excited, so hyped every time I would just casually be opening a box, and next thing I know, I see that shiny cardboard just glitter, and I would be so pumped and hyped every time I saw those. So it's like I'm glad Bandai has introduced something like that into their products, and I hope they keep doing so. which so
Uh,
far they have been, because I mean it's been positive success.
yeah, I mean, I think they kind of just need to do that because it drives some kind of a chase. Because right now there is like almost no chase in Digimon. Like you could go to TCG Player right now and find like BT23 booster boxes for sub $50. Like that's how bad the game is doing right now in terms of sales. It's like here's probably the set that is currently power spiking the game, and it's not selling well. I wonder why. Not because of the power. I'll say that.
There's not a demand.
Right. And like we've seen a lot of sets this year just do either like nothing or just tank. Absolutely tank. BT21 kind of tanked. We had BT uh so it was BT21, EX9 definitely tanked. That set did so bad on release. Um EX10 also tanked. That was pretty bad on release. BT22 did just okay, trying to stay around the $70 to $80 mark, which again for MSRP per pack, that's not exactly where you want to be. And then you had BT23, which is tanking. So like you've had almost this entire year just set after set after set just tank. So they really need to keep up with the fun little chase cards because there's no drive for the game. Like in terms of opening sealed product. Outside of just the fun of opening sealed product. But glad that you pulled a whole bunch. I actually stopped opening booster boxes. What was the last? I think I stopped opening booster boxes as of EX.
I think you said it was 8.
No, it was special booster. Yeah, it was. I bought the last box that I bought was special booster 2.0, I think. It was like 2.0 or 2.5. That's like when I stopped buying booster boxes outright and I just said screw it. I'm just going to get singles. So, I guess I'm thankful for the game still being relatively cheap. There's still a couple of things that are like really expensive, but the majority of the game is still really cheap, which is good. Because then I could just build decks. Because I was explaining to my roommate my rule of like, hey, I like to have a playset for my playset binder and a playset of something that I'm playing with. And then he's like, why do you do that? And I'm just like, because I like having a like the playset binders where I'll put like some of my alt arts in, where if a single card has like multiple different versions, like that's my collector jam. Not that I'm trying to be like hardcore collector. I still like obviously playing the game, but if the game pieces themselves are affordable, then it makes the accessibility of the game really good. And I think Digimon, outside of them needing to do more starter decks, they don't really have an accessibility issue that a lot of other games do.
Yeah, I think we only still are dealing with like the promos from Bandai.
Yeah,
Like,
promos are
but
just
that's
always
any
going to be
Bandai.
awful.
Yeah, but like that's every Bandai TCG for the most part.
Yeah, like when I hear people are still finding these starter decks, like granted they're older starter decks, and I kind of feel bad because like some of the older starter decks just they do not hold up. But like I mean, if they're casual, it doesn't matter. But like people are still able to find plenty of starter decks all the way back to like starter deck 7 or 8. Like I know a lot of people bought the Jessmon
Oh, that's
starter
the
deck up.
Galamon.
Yeah, like you can still find those. Like product is still out there when it comes to starter products. But I mean, at this point, the game is cheap enough where just don't even waste your time with a starter deck. Just buy into a deck that you want because you could probably build a halfway decent deck for like 20-30 bucks. Is it going to be competitive? No. But is it going to be better than a starter deck? Yeah. It's not going to be as easy to play as a starter deck, but it'll be more efficient. So I'm thankful for Digimon still being a relatively accessible game in spite of all of its turmoils. Um, So I
Something
guess.
else that
Oh, go ahead.
something else that I will say that I'm also kind of thankful for. So obviously the game is still like relatively success or accessible, but there is like some cards here and there that are a little bit harder to obtain or just have that very much higher price point. Like trying to think. Obviously, like I kind of said, Bandai's like doing a reprint set. I'm not sure what's supposed to be in there, but time will tell. But we do know there's like the yearly premium Bandai product that they have that I'm still waiting on for whenever they ship that out. But, like that's gonna have some Hexablouse. It's gonna have some medieval Galamons in there reprints that are like it's like Bandai is doing some effort when it comes to like trying to get these harder to obtain cards to us. So there is effort being made.
The problem with the Bandai Premium thing is because you have to order it 6 to 9 months in advance. It doesn't do players a lot of good unless they continue to stay invested in the game.
Yeah,
That's the only real issue. It's just like, yeah, I could have theoretically quit months ago if I really wanted to, and then because I quit and I ordered this product like at the beginning of the year, and now I'm getting it at the very end of the year, like now I see that as less of a product. Or if I'm a new player and I see people have this product and I just can't get it, like that's another huge turnoff. So, like, Bandai Premium isn't necessarily something I would have newer players focus on, which is why I really hate that Billion Bullets was a Bandai Premium thing.
yeah, I do too. I mean, but the thing I'm like I said, I'm trying to be thankful for is like there is to a degree some effort is being made that Bandai is trying to make more of the cards accessible for players. So there's some efforts made. It's not the best effort, but there is progress effort potentially with this.
There is. I'm not gonna lie. There definitely is a attempt to try to get cards in players' hands. It's just Bandai does things the Bandai way, which it always just feels ass backwards to me. And it doesn't make a lot of sense when they could just, use logic. But when do big corporations ever use logic? Uh, but yeah, so as far as so I don't really know what else I'm like super thankful for. I'm not thankful for the meta. I'm not thankful for the state of the game. I think like yeah, just the accessibility factor is what I'm really thankful for, and I think Bandai did step it up a little bit, but I obviously would think that they could still improve. Um, as far as personal reflections, this year I think has been a very hard year for me because I'm a competitive player that doesn't want to play competitively. So that put me personally in a really weird spot, and I'm still trying to figure out like where I fit into the Digimon card game at this point cuz like I'm unfortunately above casual. So it's just like I can't really consider myself a casual player. But as far as the overall decision to quit competitive Digimon, probably the best thing I could have done. Literally the best decision I could have made. Because I find casual Digimon or like lower powered Digimon to be vastly more interesting and definitely more uh, superior to competitive Digimon because there's actually a game for you to play. There's actually stuff that's going on. And that reminds me of this game could still be very good. It's just competitively, it will never be. So I don't know if you have any personal reflections.
I mean, something I could reflect on is that I know that I don't know about your area, but in my area, like the community has always it's never changed ever since I've joined the Digimon card game in like BT4. Like I still can go to people. I can still say, "Hey, like I'm having issues trying to locate these cards. Does anybody have these cards that I might be able to try to obtain?" Like I'm talking about like commons or uncommons of like really older cards or not really older cards, more of the recent stuff. And I always know that somebody in my community is always willing to help me out trying to get those cards. And it's like just something that I know I've never been able to expect with other TCG. So just kind of reflecting on that, it's just like, I'm glad our community has never shifted in that or has developed into like the bad rep TCGs like Magic players or Yu-Gi-Oh players level after so many years still.
Yeah, I think like Digimon has definitely built a good community in terms of like just overall being friendly to each other, even in the face of shitty situations, on top of always wanting to help each other. And I really do appreciate that aspect of Digimon. So, like, even a person like me, I'm always like somebody will ask me all the time for help about something, whether it's on Discord, whether it's at locals or on YouTube or whatever. I literally just want to help people. Like, yes, my negativity sometimes can be a turnoff, but that's just me being passionate. And I'm sorry if it comes off as anything but passion, but like it's literally just me being passionate. Like I will talk my roommate's ear off, and he will very kindly listen to me, and then he'll correlate it to what he understands. Like he'll try to translate. He's just like, "Oh, so it's kind of like when this does this," and I'm like, "Yes." He's like, "Ah, now I understand your frustration." And I'm just like, "Yes." But like at the end of the day, that's why I still make YouTube, is because I, in spite of my negativity, just want to help people or educate them to be more informed and to get something off my chest and get something out there that I feel like is important to talk about. And I definitely noticed with my community, we also really like to help each other. Like we'll have a guy open up a case, and then he'll be like, "Hey, anyone need any of the commons or uncommons or rares? Like, go ahead, take them." So like I find that to be really nice and helpful, and I have a bunch of bulk that I need to like try to offload somehow. But I want to like what I did in the past was I made like starter decks, like my own starter decks out of bulk. I might try to do that again. I don't know. That was a lot of effort though. Making like 15 copies of the same deck because I opened up a case of something, like, oh, that was a lot of work.
I know what so I so happen to be in the area where Digipanda is and everything. And I know that like, if I need a core set of cards, like I could easily go to him to get like the Omnimon core sets and everything. That's kind of what he does with his bulk.
Yeah, no, they just give it like they'll have like a week of giving it away, and then the store will collect it, and then the store will like ask for like not a lot for it, like 25 cents a rare or something, and then 10 cents for common or uncommon. Like standardized pricing. But technically it is the stores, but they give the players an opportunity to get it for free first. So that's kind of cool. And as far as like other personal reflections, I don't
I
really know
mean,
if I
this
have
year
any other
for
ones.
I mean, besides TCG, I mean, the Digimon has had obviously the webcomics slash novel, uh, a new anime finally, and also the new video game finally also come out. The main story video game. I mean, this year for Digimon, besides TCG, if we look at everything else, has been a really great year. And even we're ending the year really strong with the fact that the DLC for Time Stranger is going to be coming out this winter. Now, obviously, it doesn't mean December. It could be January or February still, but the fact that we know like the DLC is within the next month or two is exciting. Like a good way to end the year, I
Yeah,
think.
for IP wise, this definitely felt like a very, very big year for Digimon because we finally saw something on Elysium. And like you said, we have a new anime, a new video game, a web novel, a web comic. Like, there's just been a lot of Digimon content. Obviously, new sets are coming out left and right, but I digress. So I guess like Bandai deciding to actually try to step up their game when it comes to multimedia marketing, like that's probably a really good thing. I think they could obviously still do better, but What they did do definitely was a vast improvement over what they've done in the past. And I think like part of it is because of the card game. Like they feel like maybe there's a need to try to tie everything in, which is why like Time Strangers is getting a set over Digimon Survive. Because like game wise, Survive would have made a little bit more sense, especially since Time Strangers is not like Cybersuit's trait, so like it's its own new thing. But I think like Digimon as an IP is in a very, very good spot. Might not be like breaking any numbers, but it's definitely nice to see that there is some effort put into the IP. So I guess I'm like grateful for that as well. Do you have any memorable moments that happened this year specifically, like outside of box openings?
It's like box openings. Trying to think. Memorable moments with digital. Give me one sec here, because I'm trying to think. I know I had something, but I literally lost it. Give me a sec here, trying to think.
Yeah, my memorable moments are well, they're not necessarily happy memorable moments, but like the few times that I was competing, um those are definitely memorable enough because I travel a long ways to go compete because some of the competitions are all the way on the other side of the state. And I thankfully have a friend who's willing to put up with my BS and shenanigans and welcome me into their home in order to compete. So I'm always grateful to them. Huge shout outs to Mark. He also appeared on the podcast a couple of times in case anyone's curious who he is. So huge shout outs to Mark for always being the greatest of dudes that lets me crash with him to compete in Digimon. And we always go out to like all you could eat stuff and have a great time, even if the tournament didn't exactly go our way. Our stomachs definitely will go our way. Well, maybe they won't because we'll always eat too much. Um, but like we have a good time doing it. That's the important thing. So
Yeah,
this
because I mean,
year, yeah, this time we just so happened to have hot pot and Korean barbecue. Last time it was all you could eat sushi. Before that's all you could eat Chinese food. So like we go all out.
yeah. So I guess my memorable moment. It wasn't necessarily from this year. It was kind of from last year, but I didn't get a chance to talk about that. But I competed in a store tournament regionals last year up in Iowa, and I actually traveled with people from my community. So this is like the first time I actually got to really hang out with them. And although I didn't win or do anything successful, I did get to watch one of my other community members do actually win the whole tournament with Omnimon. And we even went to a Chinese restaurant. Like, it was just fun hanging out with them. Like, I wish I could do it again, but unfortunately, I just have not had the time to.
Yeah, I think getting too wrapped up in the competitive mindset is like incredibly unhealthy, and I have fallen into that rabbit hole myself. And this year has been a very tough year trying to dig myself out of that rabbit hole, because that's not who I want to be anymore, and that's not what is going to make me happy with Digimon anymore. Um, so having like a good group of friends and locals is always like a blessing, no matter the size. Like whether it's 4 people or 12 people, like just the fact that you're getting out there, you're having fun, and you're meeting your friends is good enough sometimes. Like, would it be nice to like get into that competitive mindset and win and feel that euphoric rush for doing well? Sure. Is that something worth chasing? No, it really isn't. So, but anything else you're thankful for?
Um, I mean,
Because
besides
I,
like
I,
TCG, I mean, just I've had a real fun blast playing Time Stranger. Excited for the DLC, so I mean, I'm thankful for Time Stranger, the video game.
yeah, I guess like one of my other big memorable moments is hitting 5,000 subscribers. For a small channel like me, like I noticed it's been rough on not necessarily just me, but a lot of content creators. And not just specifically in the Digimon sphere, just in general. Like, content creation is not an easy thing. And like, I could appreciate all the people putting as much effort as they do into the content that they make. And like, it's just been rough. YouTube's algorithms just been really hard to navigate sometimes, and like the topics that people talk about are like sometimes pretty either stale or like interesting. It's a mixed bag, but like getting to 5,000 definitely is a huge milestone that I didn't necessarily think I would reach, especially when starting the channel, because I started realistically playing Digimon when I had 1,000 subscribers, right as Buddy Fight died. And yeah, Digimon's just been like the thing that's always been with me because they've always had something going for me to enjoy. And as much as I do sound negative, I am like, sorry again, I kind of have like a stuffy nose. I ate some really hot ramen and it made my nose run, and my nose has not recovered since then. So, note to self, do not eat spicy ramen before podcasting. But uh but yeah, so like it's just been a very long journey to get to the point that I'm at, and I'm very thankful for being even able to get there, even if I'm not a big YouTube channel. Just making any kind of progress is very difficult. So, and I know like a lot of other content creators also had like their own booms and bust moments. So just stick with the creators you enjoy and see what they're able to go, like what they're able to come up with and where they're going. So that's about all I got in terms of like memorable moments and personal reflections and my overall gratitude that Bandai still actually does something with the Digimon IP. Talked a little bit about food because food's good. So, I guess like what are you actually doing for Thanksgiving?
For Thanksgiving, we actually aren't celebrating Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving because unfortunately, both myself and my wife we have to work. But we are celebrating with her family on Saturday though.
Aw. Yeah, thankfully I don't have to work on Thanksgiving and the day after that, so I have a nice long weekend, and I am going to celebrate Thanksgiving with my roommate on Thanksgiving. We're going to go over to his family and do that stuff. His family is actually very large. Makes me really jealous that his family is that large and that connected. Like, my family's decently large, but we're not connected at all. So I'm going to be doing my own Thanksgiving with my own family, I think on Sunday. So, do you know what? Are you catering or making?
Oh, we're all making stuff like we're all doing kind of like a potluck kind of thing where my wife she's making her like one of the reasons why I love that I married her. She makes a fantastic honey glazed ham, and she's also doing like some sort of pie. She hasn't told me what though, so I just know I'm going to be stuffed after her family Thanksgiving.
That sounds absolutely divine. Um, I think my family is just doing a ham. I don't think they're doing it. Well, actually, no. I think they're doing a turkey. I think we're skipping the ham this year, and we're doing a turkey. I think we'll have ham in post when it comes on sale because now Thanksgiving will be done. So, stuff will be a little bit cheaper because nobody will want it because they're all sick of it. And then they'll have leftovers, and then they won't want the leftovers. Are you a leftovers guy?
I don't mind leftovers at all. I mean, it depends on the leftovers though too, because like obviously if it's like something fried, I don't want to necessarily eat as leftovers because it just loses the crispness and it gets soggy. when I take it to work because we only have microwaves at work.
No air fryer?
Yeah, no, we don't have air fryers. Unfortunately, I'm not saying everyone is, but there are some people that maybe should not be out in public, but they just ruin things for other people. So
I feel you. Yeah, my work thankfully has like I'm big on leftovers. Like I could eat the same thing over and over again. I do not care, and I love my air fryer. And my new work has an air fryer. They also have a stovetop and an oven, so like they have a full kitchen. And I'm just like, dang. And because I get an hour for lunch, I could actually like cook something if I really wanted to. I'm like, oh,
okay,
I'm
yeah,
getting
no,
real
I'm
spoiled
jealous.
here.
Yeah, I'd be jealous of that.
Yeah. But because right now I'm a temp, I don't exactly know if they're gonna end up like fully hiring me. I'm after the temp period is done. God, speak English. Uh, so I'm hoping that they do end up hiring me. Cause I mean I'm working with a temp company, which is why I'm there to begin with. But who knows? For now, I'm just gonna live it up while I have it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I would.
So, but sounds like your Thanksgiving's gonna be great.
I
And
mean, yeah. So get to hang out with nieces and nephews. So
yep. Uh, yeah. So that's the food portion of the Thanksgiving festivities. So I guess tell us what you're thankful for down in the comments below, and what your Thanksgiving plans are. I'm curious to know what other people do because everyone's a little bit different. So, or how many Thanksgiving parties you went to? Because one of my coworkers, he's just like, my goal is to go to a lot of Thanksgiving parties, and I'm just like, how many is a lot? And he's just like, well, I'm already going to 3. And I'm just like, holy crap. He's just like, yeah, I might have a fourth one planned. So he's a madman. He'll be so
yeah, no
stuffed.
kidding.
Yeah, but it'll be fun. It's Thanksgiving. It's the holidays. Oh, are you gonna buy anything on Black Friday?
I don't know. I think it depends on the deal or something. Because I mean, unfortunately, I had to get a brand new car because my old car we got into a bumper accident. I did not cause the accident, but we had to get a whole new car. And literally, I've only had this new car for 3 months, and already I had to replace the tires and do an alignment on that because that's one thing I should have inspected when looking for the new car. So, anybody listening, remember check the tires. If one tire is bald, that means you have a misalignment. So make sure you're looking out for that stuff, people.
Yeah, I'm just driving my car until it dies. But I am probably gonna buy my singles on Friday
Yeah, because I
because
know
I haven't
I think
bought my singles for EX10 and BT23. So I figured like TCG players gonna do like their 10% back thing that they always do. So that's gonna be the
yeah
time to buy everything.
yeah it's either Friday or Cyber Monday is when they do it.
It's like
I
Friday through Cyber Monday.
I might be trying to swing by my local TCG shop because I know last year they had a table full of like various products that they had, and I know I haven't bought a lot of the newer Digimon products, so maybe that's the time. Depending on the prices of what they're selling them for, I might consider buying some of the sets I skipped out on because I think they still have some BT22 and 23.
Yeah, I'm just opting straight up for singles. I need to complete my playset binder, and I need to get a couple of promos because I didn't open up any boxes. So I got a lot of TCG stuff to buy. Video game wise, I think I'm pretty content with buying video games. I don't like I buy either like really random stuff on Black Friday or I buy like video games and card game stuff. That's usually what I end up buying a lot.
Yeah, like I think I've only bought in 2 video games for this entire year, and that's Battlefield 6 and the Digimon game. So I, it's not that I don't play video games. I do. It's just I haven't had the need to buy video games this year.
No, my Steam backlog is so huge. And ever since I opened up family sharing between me, my brother, and my roommate and my roommate's friends, uh, I basically like doubled my Steam library. So I'm just like, oh, I got so many games to play. And then I still have like my PS5 and my PS4 backlog. I have a whole bunch of like older like titles from the 3DS era that I'm still playing. Like there's just so many games out that I really don't feel like I even need to buy a new game. So I'm probably gonna I'll look in to see what video game sales there are if there's like anything to add to my collection, but I'm not like actively seeking anything out because most of the time I was the crazy person on Black Friday to go out in stores, wrestle with the grandmas and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, there hasn't to me it hasn't felt like a need to do that, in my opinion.
No, the last couple of times I did it, like Black Friday just sucked. It was just not fun. I guess there weren't any grandmas for me to tackle, but metaphorically speaking, I don't actually go out just to tackle grandmas. But like just walking in the stores just felt miserable and depressing rather than like the high and the rush of like good sales.
Early 2000s.
Yeah. Like Black Friday definitely has changed, and I think I'm more of like a Cyber Monday kind of a guy now, where it's just like even like looking at GameStop, going and shopping in person at GameStop kind of just sucks because they'll have a game, and then it just won't be at the store, so it's just like I have to buy it online anyway. Like, why am I bothered going in store? I guess like the reason I go in store is because I like steel cases, like steel bookcases. Oh god, I love me a steel bookcase. I'll sometimes buy random games just for the steel bookcase.
Yeah, because I think I still have a steel bookcase for my Gundam Breaker 4 game. So I, I I really thought Digimon Story Time Stranger, my collector's edition, was supposed to have one, but I guess that's only everywhere else in the world and not the United States, which is weird.
You could check Best Buy. Sometimes Best Buy will sell just like a collector's steel bookcase and not the game inside, but it'll be like $10 for the steel bookcase. My
I might have to
uh
do it.
my or not my coworker, my roommate did that with Elden Ring. He bought it through Best Buy and they gave him a free steel bookcase because it was like their pre-order bonus thing because he was a Best Buy member.
Yeah, I might have to.
Yeah, they might have one. You might also be able to like import one. I don't know how expensive importing is,
Yeah,
or
it's
like
it's
find
not
one
something
on
I'm
eBay.
actively start searching for. It's just weird that everywhere else in the world had it, but the United States we didn't get that.
No, I feel you. Like it's goofy how certain areas get something that others don't, and it's like not even like a big thing. And like if it's already being everywhere else, like why are you excluding this one specific area? Because like something like a video game case, like there's no reason for that to be exclusive. Like really, especially for a collector's edition. I don't know. That's probably just how they print and distribute. Maybe there was an issue there or complication. I don't know.
Yeah,
Goofier things could have happened.
yeah, it's nothing I'm too worried about. So
Yeah, so I'll probably end up like doing some streams or making a video on Friday since I have the time off and my roommate is working. So I'll have literally the house to myself for a couple of hours. So that'll be fun. Then I won't feel like I'm disturbing him. So, all right, I think that is enough Thanksgiving, Black Friday talk. Um, Hopefully, everyone who's listening to this on Thanksgiving will have a good holidays. Any final words, Jay Stewart?
just be on the lookout for some good Digimon cards potentially being on sold for the Black Friday Cyber Monday. Check with your local source, see what they're doing.
Yeah. And I'm excited to see if BT24 is going to shape out to be something really fun and interesting. There's already a lot of like archetypes that I think I would want to try, like new Garurumon cards and new Leomon cards, and like you have Iliad versus Titans. So like maybe there's going to be some interesting stuff there. So as much as I like to sound all doomer, I'm really not. I'm just critical because I want things to be good, and when I don't perceive them to be good, then I yes do tend to get a little bit negative. So, but I am excited to see what Locals is gonna do. For any Black Friday sales, I'm excited to see what fun things people are gonna come up with at Locals, because my Locals is not super sweaty. Every now and then we'll have people bring in like super sweaty decks, but most of the time we have like the gentleman's agreement to like, hey, let's not be toxic, because then nobody has fun. So we like to shoot the shit a lot and have a good time. So I'm excited to go back because I haven't been playing Locals in quite a while because unemployment, no money, really makes it hard to do things. So
And I know I haven't been able to just because I'm in my final 2 weeks of college for this semester, and it's just like I literally kid you not. One of my classes, the professor literally had this assignment locked. I mean, you can't look at it, you can't see what the task was. He literally unlocked it Monday, and he expects us to read a biography about somebody with great leadership, then write a 5 to 7 page about that biography, and it's due in 6 days. It's like, are you serious, buddy?
that's a lot to ask for.
Yeah, no kidding. So it's just like trying to scramble that.
Yeah. No, I get it. Time gets out of your hands, but um,
Times
it'll
I
be
wish I
fun.
could. Yeah,
Yeah.
times I could abuse. Times I wish I could abuse the time stranger mechanic.
Yeah, just ask Agiomon to time travel you. So, all right. Well, I hope everyone who's listening has a happy holidays, and we will see you all next time. Later.